the more you do it, the easier it becomes. I often use the analogy of a wheelbarrow. I don't know if anyone has ever used a wheelbarrow, but I used to work in construction, and a wheelbarrow is actually a good analogy for life, because the best way to use a wheelbarrow is to let it do the work and just sort of guide it along. And so you put 300 pounds of some sort of aggregate, sand, gravel, concrete in this wheelbarrow, and then you have to go down some bumpy path, hopefully solid enough, and deliver that 300 pounds at some specific point where it is needed on the construction site. If you labor against it and try to control it too much, you're just going to really, really be sore. But if you just let that thing start moving and let its own momentum roll along, keep the weight over the wheels, know where your fulcrum is, and know when to lift those handles, you will deliver that aggregate to where it is needed quite successfully with minimal cost. So such is the same thing in life on other endeavors. Is once you've developed a skill, maintain it, learn how to keep the ball rolling and moving forward, and then you will have more success in delivering it. And this is also an analogy for letting, I guess, God do the work, as they say. I'm not really happy with the word God. I think I already mentioned that. I'm favoring two letters now for describing it, the creator or the source of life or whatever. I-Z is the great is, that which is, of course, related highly to the English word is, but on a more specific level, is. So for me, that clears out all the sort of cobwebs that have developed around the word God, and which a lot of people, when they hear, they just cringe. They go, God, simply because it's had all these negative associations with it and it's vastly misunderstood. People shy away from it. They would probably not shy away from the actual thing itself. In fact, you're living in it all the time. It's making you happen. You can't really escape it. The great is. There's nothing you can do about it. It's making you at this very moment. It's giving you everything, and this, in essence, what you have to do is learn to not allow it to be inverted. There are two levels of inversion, actually. One is perceiving yourself as physical, believing in the causativity of physicality, and then on a higher level, and largely as a result of that first mistaken inversion, is to, on a second level, believe yourself to be a separate entity, which is known as the ego. The ego. When your ego becomes very self-involved, self-interested, you begin to do things very negatively because you perceive yourself as being one of the many, and in order to be satisfied, to be happy, you have to continuously fight all those other egos out there and dominate. So that is the second level of inversion, when you allow that kind of thinking to take control, and it in essence is what has caused incredible amount of disharmony in the world. And it's largely a product of allowing the mind to go out of control. I think a lot of these things right now for me, although I'm expanding my source of spiritual, or what I'm searching for, researching into, getting a deeper understanding of life. But the two spiritual leaders that are really helping me right now are Eckhart Tolle and Mary Baker Eddy. Eckhart Tolle, spiritual perception is, if you read his book, The Power of Now, I think you really are sort of knocked over by how profound some of the things are that he tells you, and they really make you look at reality in a much different way. And it's an easier read than Mary Baker Eddy's work, because Mary Baker Eddy is very, not that she's that hard, but she's more strict and demanding, I think. And purity had its results with her because she was an incredible physical healer, and just a huge history of phenomenal healing, very profound, instantaneous healing of cancer, cripples, insanity, again and again. And she would walk into households where the mother or father was sick, the child was bedridden, and an hour later she would leave the place and they'd all be well. I mean, this is the kind of thing she did on a daily basis. And so this level of mastery of spiritual, overriding the physical, cutting through the illusion, it's absolutism. And it's, I believe in the Bible it says, take this book and in your mouth it will be bitter, in your belly will be sweet. In other words, it's a tough read to really break through the illusion. If you become very enamored with whatever physical sensations you find pleasurable, it certainly can be difficult to turn around. The materialist's, sensualist's heaven is hell, the spiritualist, and vice versa. So work with what you can understand and progress every day, get clear, keep on practicing, and raise your perception as much as possible. These are the things that we do.